Hi. Um, there's different there's different interpretations of the Second Amendment. People read into it differently. People extrapolate what they want to hear from it, what they want to see from it. But even with our right to bear arms, the Constitution was amended 27 times to modify egregious errors. Now, abolishing slavery, that didn't happen until the 13th Amendment. And women, they weren't even allowed to vote until the 19th Amendment. So it's not a perfect system, but eventually morality and common sense, they catch up. The founding fathers were smart enough to create a living, breathing document, knowing that changes would need to be made, modifications would need to be added. The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms and to have a well-regulated militia, this was an afterthought. It was an amendment. It was the Second Amendment. So that's why when we're talking about a flexible document and asking seriously, why is it hard to modify it yet again in terms of gun ownership? Not saying abolish by any stretch. We have the right to own guns. People want to hunt. They want to protect their families. Not saying that. But when you get into owning a semi-automatic weapon, which the sole job of that machine, of that weapon, is to murder large amounts of people in a small period of time, in a quick period of time. Or why can people have this weapon, this object, and not be trained on it and have background checks and be background checked for it and have a license for it? All these things are not mandated. Now, some people will say, I use my AR-15 to go hunting. Yeah, sure. But you can also go hunting with a shotgun or a rifle. You don't need this massive killing machine. Same reason why I don't need a tank to drive around the streets. I use a car. A tank seems like overkill. The ability to shoot so many rounds a minute against a wild pig seems like overkill. Now, many people, many passionate gun owners will say, I have the right to own a gun. And the truth is, you do have that right. But rights are human-made, like humans-made rights. People say this is a God-given right. Well, no, God gave us the ability to create rights. That's where that comes from. God didn't give it. God gave us the ability to do it. And therefore, we can change them. We can change rights as we feel are warranted. People thought they had a right to have slaves at one point. It's crazy. But we also have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when you see all these grieving families, are we saying the right to own a weapon that can so quickly murder so many people, that outweighs the rights of families who want to have happiness with their children or their parents or their neighbors or their friends, any murder victim? So I don't want to get caught up in semantics about how all guns can potentially murder or that automatic weapons are already outlawed. Like, that's not what we're getting at, or that cars and knives can kill. This is semantics, right? A car is not going to kill as many people as an AR-15 that quickly. Neither is a knife. Talk about the spirit of this debate, the philosophy of this debate. And that is, should certain guns, ones that allow for the mass slaughter of humans in a very fast period of time, should these be allowed ownership to the general public? Not abolish, amend. So certain things that, we as everyday citizens should not have. When there was the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, the Brady Bill came out, which outlawed certain weapons, and mass shootings went down. And the government did not come after your guns. They did not come after your weapons. All they said was, this select group of weapons, these really don't belong in the hands of everyday citizens. And the government did not do anything after that. It wasn't a step in a series of steps to take away your right to have a gun. That's not what it was. And then eventually the law got repealed. And here we are. Here we are. We're back again with, it seems to be every week some sort of mass slaughter of people killed by a weapon that should not be in the hands of gun ownership. So I have to I want to conclude with, I don't want people to lose their guns. I don't want to abolish them. Nothing of the sort. I just feel like certain things are not needed in the hands of everyday citizens. Certain weapons that are really meant or can be used to kill a lot of people very, very quickly. And why those are in the hands of everyday people, I don't know. And if you say to me, well, I have that right and the Constitution gives me that right, that's true. But that right was given to you via an amendment, via a change, via a modification. And so why we can't modify it in a way that takes those awful killing machines off the streets. If the slaughter of children outweighs the right to have one of these guns, what are we saying as a society? Like, what are we saying? My right to have these things is more important than your right to make sure my child is safe and protected? I don't think so. I don't. Now, you tell me there's a law that comes out that says, I want all the guns off the street to protect our kids. And I go, well, yeah, someone comes up to a school with a shotgun. They're not murdering 20 kids in a series of minutes. They're not. And so I feel like as a humane, civilized, intelligent society, we should look inward and go, at what point are we not doing what's necessary to protect the lives of our children, of our next generation? And there are some people that say everyone should have a gun because it's the best way to protect everybody. And to me, this is dangerous because, most people can't drive a car properly. People can't drive cars. You ever go on the street and people are speeding and making left turns in weird spots and, stop abruptly, run through red lights. It's a car. Now imagine people not properly trained and licensed and have the ability to grab any sort of gun like this. It's not right. It's really not right. So I beg everybody to sort of look at yourselves and think, the world is bigger than you. The universe is bigger than you. And if we want to be civilized and protect people, at the very least, get rid of these dangerous guns. And again, semantics. Someone's going to say all guns are dangerous. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. And so I ask you and I implore you just to sort of think about that. Think about how at one point when those weapons were off the street and mass murders went down. And think about our kids. Think about our children. Because my right to hunt animals with an AR-15 should not supersede the right for my child to go to school and not be worried about someone coming up and shooting him and 19 of his friends in a matter of minutes. It's not right. It's not right. So I thank you for listening.